So amid the strawberry hype, some stories were overlooked this week. Let's dive into a few remarkable AI developments that might have missed your attention. One particularly intriguing piece of news is that OpenAI will be hosting their Dev Day later this year. Upon examining the announcement, there are more details than many may have initially noticed. This year, we're bringing the OpenAI Dev Day experience closer to our global developer community. Following our first ever developer conference last year, we had two major requests. You wanted Dev Day in your region, and you wanted more time and space to learn from each other. Dev Day is particularly exciting because it usually showcases new and innovative ways to use ChatGPT from OpenAI, along with the API and other fascinating examples. However, many had speculated that this day might be when GPT-5 would be announced. The event is scheduled for October 1st in San Francisco, October 30th in London, and November 21st in Singapore. The significance of these dates stems from the fact that OpenAI had indicated they wouldn't release their next frontier model before November, around the 8th, coinciding with the presidential election. They aim to avoid the scrutiny that comes with misinformation, particularly during a period rife with it and in a heated political climate. So, you would expect that this model would be released around or after this time. However, what was fascinating is that they actually said, while we know developers are waiting for our next big model, which we shared has begun training earlier this year, these events will focus on advancements in the API and our dev tools. They're indicating that these dates do not suggest an imminent frontier model release, which is intriguing. It suggests one of two scenarios. Either we might see a frontier model release this week, starting the 15th of August, with details yet to be revealed, or it could mean that GPT-5 might be postponed until next year. Such a delay would be significant, hinting at major developments or challenges. Indeed, this could be accurate, especially considering a recent development. Greg Brockman, one of OpenAI's co-founders, has announced he's taking a sabbatical through the end of the year. He will be away for 4.5 months, planning to return in 2025. This decision might impact the timeline of new releases from OpenAI. It's uncertain whether he will return, but it's interesting to note in light of the recent Dev Day announcement that no new model will be released then. Additionally, there's a subtle detail that caught my attention, which someone on Twitter also noticed. While it might seem like a stretch, I believe it's worth examining because it could be quite remarkable. So, this is a graphic from an internal OpenAI demonstration where they discuss future AI models and releases. We can see the image of the previous AI releases, the GPT-3 era from 2021, the GPT-4 era from 2023, and of course, today's GPT-4o era. Now here's the thing I want you guys to pay attention to, because I didn't notice this at first, but when I double-checked, there was actually a small difference between these images. Take a look at this. Observe these images closely. During today's presentation, you could see that they introduced GPT-4o, showcasing comparisons between GPT-3 and GPT-4o. Now let's focus on how GPT-4o compares to the upcoming GPT next. Pay attention to the details in these comparisons. Essentially, this suggests that we might see a new model release before the end of the year, possibly timed with Google's next unveiling or at another moment, though clearly not on the Dev Day. If we focus on the height difference between these two bars in the visual comparisons, it becomes quite evident. This detail could provide insight into the scale of improvements or changes we can expect from the new model. When I switch to the other image between these two bars, you'll notice there isn't much difference in size. However, consider this. The image released recently doesn't show a significant change, but if we look back at an image released earlier this year, around a month or two ago, we see a graph depicting the GPT Next model. Comparing it to today's data, there's a noticeable increase in the projected capabilities. This stark difference highlights the rapid advancements and potential scale of improvement in the newer model. That's why I'm suggesting that things at OpenAI might not be as straightforward as they seem. It could mean that either they're facing some challenges, or perhaps they're doing even better than expected by opting for an iterative deployment strategy. What we can observe from the graphic presented at various OpenAI events is a clear and noticeable increase in the projected capabilities, which could indicate rapid and continuous improvements. You could argue that today's models, which are part of the GPT-4 era, show significant progress. If you compare the current GPT-4 era bar with what's projected for the GPT Next model, you can see a noticeable difference, potentially doubling in size. This suggests that the GPT Next model, expected later this year, might represent a substantial improvement, possibly even doubling in capabilities or offering a stark enhancement over current models. However, when we examine the updated graph that OpenAI is currently presenting, it seems like there might have been a shift in expectations. It could be that they've either toned down the model's projected capabilities or adjusted expectations to avoid overhyping the model's power. This subtle change might seem minor, possibly just a graphic adjustment, but it's noticeable. The difference between GPT-4o and the GPT Next model doesn't appear as significant as initially suggested, which raises questions. Considering Greg Brockman's recent departure and the ongoing changes within OpenAI, including the departure of other key leaders, one might wonder if these developments are indicative of something deeper within the organization. It could be a sign of internal challenges or strategic shifts. I believe this week is going to be one of the most pivotal ones yet. We might see some kind of release or announcement, especially given all the recent hype surrounding the Strawberry Project and other developments. It will be fascinating to see how things unfold in the coming days. Another aspect that hasn't received enough attention is the MidJourney to Runway pipeline. Many might have missed that Runway has actually released their text-to-video AI model. While it's true that the pricing is on the higher side, they've introduced several new features that make this software worth exploring. Previously, people relied on tools like Luma Labs for image-to-image generation, but one of the standout features of Runway is its remarkable consistency in the quality of its model. I recall that during the early development stages, the creator or CEO of Runway tweeted that this model would surpass Sora and be available sooner, and they were absolutely right. Now, with the ability to take a driving image from MidJourney and integrate it into Runway, it opens up a completely new level of control that we didn't have before. Initially, it was just text to video, but now, by importing our own images, we can create much cooler projects and gain far more control over our creative process. I find this remarkable because it enables us to experiment with consistent characters and explore various storylines in creative ways. It's exciting to imagine how people will use this tool creatively. If you're skeptical about its potential, take a look at the demo I've put together. This example features a figure robot where I used a different prompt and platform that allowed me to control its actions. I can't recall if I created this image myself, as there was a controllable model available that you could prompt to make the figure robot perform different actions. This kind of control opens up a lot of possibilities for storytelling and creative projects. Here, you can see the recent figure humanoid holding a basket of strawberries, which ties into OpenAI's strawberry reference. If it weren't for the light flickering in the background, I think this could be a really cool video. The lighting looks remarkable. The glassy shininess and specularity are spot on, and everything appears accurate. There doesn't seem to be anything wrong with it at all. While I hoped it would be fully functional, it's still fascinating to consider the potential for future generations, especially with longer videos. I realize that this is likely very compute intensive, and currently with our subscription, we only get around a minute of footage per month, which isn't much. However, this is cutting-edge technology, and just a few years ago, something like this would have been a complete pipe dream. The fact that it even exists today is pretty incredible in itself. And there you have it, an incredible glimpse into the cutting-edge world of AI and the remarkable advancements we're seeing with tools like Runway and MidJourney. Whether it's the ability to craft consistent characters, experiment with different storylines, or push the boundaries of what's possible in video generation, it's clear we're just scratching the surface of what's to come. While we're limited to about a minute of footage right now, the possibilities are endless. and it's exciting to think about where this technology will take us next. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this content. Stay tuned for more updates and explorations into the latest in AI and creative tech. See you in the next video.